how do you support your partner? So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to resolutions, one, we're in February, so I'm very curious about the people who actually have completed or are still working toward their resolution. So as we're recording, this is the last week of January, so this will come out in February. And so I'm very curious about those who've already given up. A lot of times, those first 2 weeks of the new year, you are encouraged. You know that you have these goals and you are going to go for them. But as time goes on, the momentum slows down. And I know that even happens for me. Every year I'm trying to lose 60 pounds. Every year I lose 10. So I get it completely. And so I'm sure it can be difficult trying to support other people with their resolutions when you know that this is just like a new year thing, new year, new me, and people are trying to change their life, but they're not necessarily being consistent, or you've seen them in the past not do what they needed to do in order to reach their resolutions. So I get that. I think, maybe you adjust when it comes to January, February. That's when you start to kind of adjust, like, oh, well, maybe it's not that serious. Maybe I don't have to, lose all that weight, or maybe I don't have to make $20,000 in the first month, or whatever the case, whatever your goal is. You start to come to realize, like, oh, okay, I don't need to do all of that. So it's nothing wrong with adjusting. There's nothing wrong with like being encouraged, but also understanding that not every resolution will get done. But when you're in a relationship, how do you make sure that your partner doesn't feel like, oh, you really don't care about what I think or what my resolution is, or you don't really care about, what I want to get done because you've seen it before. And so maybe you're not as excited as you have been in the past. So, and I think that's completely understandable. And that's something to even talk about. Like, look, the last time you said this, you didn't do it. Like, not to be weird or rude or whatever, but so if you need me to encourage you, if you need my support, let me know what to do. But yeah, I'm not going to be like working 10 times harder for your goal if you're not working toward it. So it's definitely understandable, and especially if it's the same resolution every single year, then it's definitely understandable why it would be difficult to support that. Hopefully y'all can have a conversation where you can be really honest and say, like, yo, this is why I have a hard time supporting you. Or if you are the person that knows that you set the same resolutions every single year, you probably just go to them and be like, look, I know I do this all the time. I know this is a regular occurrence, but this year, this is what I'm trying to do different, and this is what I need from you. And don't ask for a lot if you know that this is something that you do all the time. So the one thing I want to say for the people that want to try to help but aren't really as enthused as they have been in the past when it comes to like their partners having resolutions, or maybe you just don't believe in resolutions at all, it's very important to encourage them. Like, yeah, tell them good job when you notice that they did get up and go to the gym. Sometimes people are like, why do you need to congratulate people on things they should be doing? Because that's what some people need in order to keep going. And a lot of times we are so caught up in like the way things should be, or like, well, you should already be doing that, so I shouldn't even say anything to you. Okay, but if you know that this isn't something that comes naturally to them, then it's really nice when somebody is acknowledging, like, I see the hard work you're putting in, I see that this can be difficult, and I appreciate that you're trying, as opposed to just being like, this is what you're supposed to do. Why should I encourage you? So definitely encourage, but don't push them. It's not your goal. It's not your resolution. So it's not your job to make sure they get it done. And then also, depending on what it is, you may have to make some changes, which is difficult for a lot of people. A lot of people struggle with the fact that if my partner is trying to eat healthy, especially if you're married, if my partner or my husband or my wife is trying to be healthier, I then have to be more conscious of what I eat, or at least what I eat in front of them. That's the biggest part. A lot of times we are quick to just be like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, I can eat whatever I want to because I don't need to lose weight. I'm already at my summer body, so I don't even care. Or I just don't care about what I eat. And so the partner is struggling because they're trying to have willpower, but it's difficult when somebody right next to you is eating in a manner that you prefer to eat. Like, I would prefer to eat that cheeseburger, but I know I need to eat this chicken and these vegetables. So it's difficult, when you see the person right next to you doing the same thing. So understand, in order to be like the most compromising and loving partner, you may need to also make some changes yourself. And like I said, that can be very difficult for people to do. So I'm very curious about how you've handled resolutions in your relationship. Is that something that's been an issue where one partner is always making resolutions and the other partner has no interest in that, or it's the same resolutions every single time? I'm also curious how you're doing with your resolutions for 2019. How far have you gotten? Have you made any progress? If you have, make sure you leave a comment on the podcast. If you're watching the video, just leave a comment below and let me know how you've been doing. But that's it for the first episode. It's like I said, this will be a short one. The episodes will be probably, the episodes of the other people will be between 15 and 30 minutes. So I hope that you enjoy these little short spurts. And what may happen, because we're actually recording quite a few, you might end up getting 2 episodes a week. So although they're shorter, you might, maybe, I'm going to say that I want to be very, very clear that I'm not making a guarantee, but you might end up getting a couple episodes, just, you know, to keep room for relations on your mind. I know we took a little bit of a break, and so I want to make sure that we're still making great content for y'all and that y'all are enjoying these conversations about sex and relationships. So thank you for joining again. This is Eboni Harris. And if you have a letter, story, comment, or concern, make sure you email it to roomforrelations@gmail.com. Also, if you follow me at Eboni Harris MA, I'm answering shorter questions on there, but I also might post some on Room for Relations if you follow us across social media at Room for Relations. But definitely I'm doing like short, like if you just send me like a couple sentences of like a question you have related to relationships and sex, I'll answer that on Eboni Harris MA. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and comment on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all places that you find a podcast. Share with a friend. Let them know that they need to go back and listen to all 4 years of the show and jump in on year 5, because year 5 is going to be fun. And head over to roomforrelations.com/shop. Also with that, as I've said before, the website will be changing. I'm not going to give a specific date because, again, that's something I have to like just find the time to do. But we'll be changing the website up a little bit as well and making sure we're posting the episodes on there again like we used to. Thank you for everyone that listens, and we will talk to y'all very, very soon.